Hey there folks, today I'd like to take a casual peek into the Super Robot Chogokin Gokai-Oh action figure set from Bandai. This set was first available at Japanese retail in the year 2011, I believe, and originally sold for about 4,000 yen, which converts to roughly 40 US dollars. And I got the set in 2013 when I purchased it through Mandarake, which is a Japanese secondhand pop culture web store. And I paid only 2,000 yen for this set. If you had purchased the Gokai-Oh set when it first came out, you did receive a bonus item, a first release bonus item called a slash effect, which are for the sabers for Gokai-Oh. And I did not purchase it when it first came out, and I had to get the slash effects separately, and I purchased those through Mandarake as well for about, I think it was 800 yen, which converts to $8, I believe. Now, taking a look at Gokai-Oh in the packaging here, you can see this is pretty much the typical style of Super Robot Chogokin figure sets, at least during its time. And you can see the figure here showcased in a nice dynamic pose, which is nice about these Super Robot Chogokins. They are very poseable. Unlike the Robo figures, the DX or the Megazords here in the US, they are not meant to be disassembled and transformed. But these are actual posable figures in their robo form, so that you have to keep that in mind with this particular line. And you could see Gokai-Oh here again in a dynamic pose. You have the Super Robot Chogokin, I believe that's the logo for that, on the line, and we have some nice foil print here in Japanese. I am not sure what that says. I don't know if it says Gokai-Oh or something else on there. You can see the name of the figure set down along the bottom, Gokai-Oh there. And also in the bottom corner, you can see the show logo from where Gokai-Oh is from, which is Kaizo Sentai Gokaija, the 35th Super Sentai series, an anniversary series. Now that series is going to be adapted by the I guess the Western states in the Power Rangers lineup as Super Megaforce. Here on this side of the packaging, we have Japanese print information there, and I cannot read it, but you can see here they have the Toei seal of approval there. That's kind of cool. On this side of the packaging, you can see the image of the Gokai-Oh Robo there, and you can see the name of the set there at the top, and the Super Robot Chogokin logo at the bottom. At the top of the box, you got more of the name, the set name, and what looks like a filtered image of a close-up of the Robo head of Gokai-Oh. On the bottom, you have a more colorful image of that was shown on the top. Here we have the back of the package, and it's really full of imagery and print there. Again, the Super Robot Chogokin logo, the set name Gokai-Oh, and then you have all of this Japanese print in front of it, and then you have another image of the figure with more print surrounding it, and you have another insert image to showcase the articulation and posability of these figures, especially here with the ankle pivot there. Very nice. And you have some more information there, and you also have information here about some of the effects that are included in the set, which is nice. And you have here a piece from another Super Sentai Super Robot Chogokin set from Deca Ranger Robo, and this is the, I have to pronounce it, Terra Striker, I think. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this is a piece from the Deca Ranger Robo set, and can be integrated with the Gokai-Oh, and which was in the show. So you can actually outfit him with different configurations from the other sets that are available in the line. So really, really cool. And here we have an image of Gokai-Oh's finishing move with the blaster cannon coming out of his chest there. Very cool. And taking a quick look at the slash effect part, you can see two effects to be outfitted on the sabers of Gokai-Oh there. And this is all in black and white, no color print. They didn't want to spend the money, since this was really just a bonus release item there. And you got print on the sides there, and more printing on the side here, and along the top, that's upside down, sorry, along the top there, and on the bottom. And we have here on the back of the box how to outfit the slash effect onto the saber. Now we'll be right back and have the contents of both packages out of the package. Okay, we're back and we have Gokai-Oh out of the packaging, and I gotta say that this figure set is actually quite nice. The design and sculpt, the paint that's used, the material that's used, and the articulation and posability, it's just really good. And also all of these accessories that come included to outfit the figure, it's just really quite nice, and I'm really happy to have this figure. Now, if you're not familiar with the Super Robot Chogokin line, when you first get one out of the box, you may be surprised that it is quite small, and it's not like their Soul of Chogokin cousins, which are a bit taller. The Super Robot Chogokin line, they average about 5.5 to 6 inches tall, which is about the size of a standard figure arts figure. And just for a quick size comparison, let me just go ahead and line them up with a figure arts Shadow Moon figure here that I have, and you can see the Gokai-Oh is just about the height of a figure arts figure. So it's not as large as the Soul of Chogokin line of figures, and definitely smaller than the Robo figures like the Megazord line in the US, or the Japanese counterpart, I think it's called DX, I'm not sure. But definitely on the smaller side. But even with the smaller scale, the detail on this figure is actually quite good, and very posable and just really neat. And we're going to go ahead and just take a closer peek at the figure itself, and we'll get to the accessories after that. But looking at Gokai-Oh here, and it's really cool. You can see for a smaller sized figure of a giant Robo, it's really detailed. You can see all the details on here, and it's actually quite cool. And of course, this figure is brightly colored, and that's just due to the nature of Super Sentai. When they have their individual Zords, if you want to call them, to combine into Super Robo, you have parts of the figure, or the Robo, that represent each of the team members' colors. So you have, of course, red here in the center to represent Captain Marvelous's ship. And then you also have blue here for Gokai Blue, which I believe he pilots a plane, a jet plane. And then you have Gokai Greens here, looks like a race car of some sort. And for the legs, you have Gokai Pink. I believe she's a submarine. And we have Gokai Yellow for the other leg, and I believe that's a transport vehicle. And combined together, you have this nice medley of colors that dominates the figure. And just looking at the detail, starting off with the head here, it's actually quite cool and very detailed. You can see the head here wearing the typical pirate themed hat, very nice. And then you have elements of the parts of the galleon on there, and it's very, very cool. And on the shoulders you can also see the galleon, which is the bow and of the ship. And by the port side here and the starboard side there, you can see elements of the ship there. When transformed into Gokai-Oh, they split apart and form the shoulders here with cannons on there. So that's actually kind of cool. And you can just see all the molding details in the center torso area. You have the Gokaija logo there, and on the chest it's very, very nice. And the paint applied on this is very, very cool. And you can see the back there. And I really don't see too much bleed or mispaints at all, and it's really, really nice on here. And you can see some more details on Gokai Blue's side of the arm. You can see the elements of the jet plane there. And also you can see the little Gokaiger symbol there. And you can see all the sculpting details on the arm there. And you can have the hands. Very, very cool. And there's the back side of that. Very nice. And more detail on Gokai Green's arm piece there. Very cool. You can see the wheels. They don't spin. They're sculpted wheels, but that's okay. But you can see the details on that as well. Very nice. And moving down here in the waist area, you can see more of Gokai Red's galleon there. That's, I guess, transformed into the robo parts there. Very nice. And you can see here on the back some of the rudder, I think, areas of this ship, or the galleon, and some parts of what look like lasers on there. So very cool. And this portion of the area is made of plastic, and I do have to mention the materials. This is a Chogokin line of figures, so the Super Robot Chogokin line has a mix of plastic and metal on here. And the waist area here is made of, you can tell, of plastic, but there are pieces that are made of metal, and that's like in the torso here on this area, which is nice. And also on the legs are made of metal, and some parts are made of plastic on here. So very, very cool. And you can also see here on the legs parts of the submarine. You can see the top part of the submarine here for Gokai Pink there, and you can see what elements to form the knee armor area of the robo there. Very, very cool. And then looking at this leg, you have the transport vehicle. You can see the front of the vehicle here forms the feet. And you got little wheels sculpted there. And then you have the trailer portion of that forming the leg, and you can see the Gokaiger symbol. You can see the sculpting detail on there. Very nice, and paint detail as well. And you can see some more tires there. So just very nice sculpting wise, and very, very cool. And I do have to mention that the Super Robot Chogokin line, for at least the Super Sentai Robos, they are not meant to be disassembled to form the individual Zord or transport vehicles of each of the members. And so it's really meant for posability of the actual robo figure itself. So, which is one thing to keep in mind. You're not buying a Megazord where you can disassemble the arms and stuff like that. But really meant for the figure as a robo as a whole, and for posability. Now, speaking of posability, this figure is quite articulated and has pretty decent articulation and some additional articulation to increase the range of motion of certain areas of the figure, which is very, very cool. And we're going to go ahead and go over this articulation and on each of these parts. And first up, we'll start off with the head. The head can go all the way around, which is nice on there, and can go up and down a bit, side to side a bit, and the fins articulate on the sides of the head. They fold in and out a bit, which is nice. Now, when I mentioned some added articulation for added posability, there is a point for the head. It's more of like a peg area. It's not really a peg, but you can pull the head upwards to increase the range of articulation. So you can bend the head even further downwards and tilt side to side with a greater range of motions, which is very, very nice. Now, that's really added articulation if you want some really posable poses there. But if you want, you don't have to use them. You can push the head back down if you want more, I guess, standard robotic type posability, because robos are not really meant to be ultra dynamic, but the Super Robot Chogokin line gives you the option if you want some really nice dynamic posing, which is really, really cool. And continuing with the articulation, the shoulder armor here do fold up and down on a hinge, and these can be also removed for expandability. One nice thing about Gokai-Oh is that it was an anniversary series, in that it actually, in the show, the Gokai-Oh could actually create different variations based on previous Sentai characters, and these shoulders can detach, and other parts can be placed on here to represent the different variations of Gokai-Oh in the show, which is really, really cool. Very nice. Continuing with the articulation on the arm can go all the way around, as well as up and down, and there is added articulation in the shoulder, so that you can actually increase. You can see how this part here comes out, so you can increase forward movement of the arm and backward movement. So very cool there. The shoulder here can lift up a bit to increase the range of the arm overall to the side, so that's kind of neat. And the arm at that shoulder, you can go in and out as well, so very nice. And can go all the way around as well, which is very cool. And the arms at the elbows can bend about that much, and extend that far back, and has added articulation where you can pull the arm down and increase the range a bit on the arm, which is very neat. And you don't have to use that as well. You can just push it back in if you want, because when you pull it down, it does expose some of the joints. So if you don't want to have those joints exposed and you don't mind more limited articulation, you can pop that back in. So that's very cool. The articulation at the waist allows the figure to go all the way around, which is really cool, and can bend downwards a bit and upwards and tilt side to side a little bit, and also has added articulation here. You can just pull that up a little bit and you can see the exposed area has a little bit of a covering, which is kind of neat. But there's that peg in there where you can extend the figure upwards a little bit to provide better range of motion on the waist. So really cool. And again, you have the option of pushing that down and not using it. So very neat on here. There is some more waist articulation in the skirt area. This can flip upwards, as well as that can flip upwards to increase articulation range of the legs, which is nice. As well as at the side, can swing upwards like that. You can pull and then push upwards to increase the range of articulation for the leg, which is very cool on there. And let me just put that back into place. As you saw earlier, there is a balled hinge at the hip. It allows the leg to swing upwards about that much, downwards and back about that much, and out to the side. And I believe there's added articulation where you can pull the leg slightly downwards to increase the range there. And you can also turn the leg all the way around at that hip area. So that's kind of neat. There is a hinge at the knee, so you can bend the knee there, as well as an additional hinge here, so it's a double hinged leg, so you can actually have the leg go all the way that far back if you wanted to use that. So very cool on there. The feet at the ankles is a ball socketed joint, so you can turn the or not really, doesn't look like it can turn, but really pivot and turn just a little bit, so that's kind of limited there. But there is an ankle pivot for the foot, and I believe you can pull it downwards. Yeah, you can see how it extends, so you can have increased range of movement on there. And with that down, I guess you can turn the foot. I'm not sure if you can turn it all the way around. I don't want to stress it too much. It looks like you can go about 180 degrees, or close to 180 degrees there. So very nice added articulation there. There is a toe and heel articulation point at the feet. They can bend the toes upwards and downwards. And then you have a similar articulation at the heel. Well, it's really just the foot overall, so it's really just toe articulation that you have. And for this leg, it's the front of the vehicle that has that articulation point there, and also has that pull down feature for this particular foot. So you have this one can go all the way around, it looks like. You have a nice added range of movement, but if you don't want to use it, you can always hide that and pop it back into place. So overall, a greatly articulated figure, and as standard, and even more posability with those extended features of the articulation for the figure. So a very cool figure articulation wise. And next we're going to go ahead and take a look at the accessories that come with the figure, and we're going to go ahead and outfit the figure as well. Next we're going to go ahead and take a peek at the items that came included with the figure, and also items that were the pre-release bonus for Gokai-Oh. But let's go ahead and take a peek at these items. And first up we have here the sheet part sheet as well as a usage sheet on how to use all of the accessory items on there, how to outfit Gokai-Oh, especially with his finishing move, the Gokai Starbursto attack, or Starburst attack. It's pretty cool there. And next set of items we're going to take a peek at are the extra hands. There are 2 additional sets of hands besides the closed fists that come included on the figure. First extra set of hands are a pair of opened hands here. And you can see that the right hand of the figure has some armor plating there, blue armor plating to represent Gokai Blue's side of the arm, or the figure. And I'm not sure if this paint was left out or if that was intentional. I don't know if that's supposed to be green or black. But I'll have to watch some episodes again. But it's not just for this hand, but you also have a blue painted and a black painted hand for the extra pair of hands here. And these extra pair of hands are gripping hands, and therefore are the sabers for Gokai-Oh. And the closed fists also have a matching blue and black set for the hands. And the next thing we're going to take a look at is this piece here. And this piece is basically an add-on if you want to display Gokai-Oh using a Tamashii stage. And basically this slips into place. I've never done it, so I believe it goes in this way, or let me try it the other way here, or maybe it clips on to place in the back. Not quite sure. Maybe I have to do this off screen here. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, but that piece basically slides into the butt area of the Gokai-Oh Robo there. So if you wanted to attach a display base on there for, like, say, leaping poses or flying poses for the figure, and that basically slips onto 2 areas on either side of this figure here, and that can be pulled out again, and you can see the grooves on the side where you slide that piece into place there. So, but that's what this piece is for. And the next thing we're going to go ahead and take a look at is the sabers. There's a pair of sabers for Gokai-Oh. And these 2 sabers here are pretty neat. They're virtually identical, except for one of them has an added hand guard here with some extra plastic added to it. And these sabers are made of plastic, and they're painted quite well. You can see a mixture of gold and silver there, which is very nice metallic colors there. And you can also see the sculpting detail on these sabers. And there are holes sculpted onto the blades, which is pretty cool on here. And these sabers can be outfitted with the gripping hand. I believe the one without the handguard goes on the left hand, and that can basically just be slipped on to the gripping hand there. And for the one with the handguard, basically you can remove the handguard. Let me see if I can do this. Just pull a little bit on the top portion here, and then pull down, and you can see a peg hole on here, and what looks like a square slot type peg there at the top. And then you can attach the other hand, just slip the hand over that, and then you can replace the hand guard back into position there, so that you have the hand guard with the hand attached on there. So pretty neat pair of sabers. And I forgot to mention earlier on the articulation, the hands are on a ball socketed joint, so you have a range of motion for the hand where you can turn it all the way around and tilt forward and back and side to side. So a nice pair of weapon accessories there. Now, the final set of items, besides the bonus release items here, the final set of items here actually represent the Gokai-Oh's finishing move, which is called the Gokai Starbursto attack, or Gokai Starburst attack. And let me just go ahead and bring Gokai-Oh here. And what's kind of cool about the finishing move here is that the Starburst attack actually produces a cannon out of the chest of Gokai-Oh, and the panels on the arms and legs flip open to reveal the cannonballs that are loaded as into the chest as Gokai-Oh fires the Starburst attack, which is pretty cool on the show. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to replicate that on the US or Power Ranger adaptation or not with the Super Mega Force, since that show hasn't aired as of this shooting of this video yet, and we don't know if they're going to use that Starburst attack or not. But for Gokai-Oh in the Kaizo Sentai Gokaija series, you can replicate the Starburst attack with these pieces here, and it's pretty cool. Now, as I mentioned, the panels for the arms and legs do pop open, and you basically just flip the lower legs here to expose this, and there are two panels on each arm which open up as well, and those are a little bit harder, at least for me, to pop open. But you have the upper arm and lower arm panels there that pop open on that side, and you have some that pop open on this side. And when these panels are opened, you could see cannonballs with the Gokaiju symbol on the exposed area of the arm, and that loads into the chest as it fires, which is cool. And you have all of these panel pieces down here that you can attach. They're basically just slotted pegs on there, and they fit on individual arms and legs, and you just push them into place like this, and basically they show off the cannonballs, individual cannonballs. And the left and right arm pieces are unique, so you cannot switch the left and right cannonball pieces around. They go slotted into a particular place on the arm. So we push that in, and push this one in, which is cool here. And you can see Gokai-Oh is about ready to fire, and on the show the front panel here flips downward and produces a very large cannon. And to take this piece off, you just pull that on the top of the chest there, and you replace it with this large cannon here, and you can see the sculpted front panel folded down to produce the cannon. And there are two pegs there that you can plug into the chest there, and you have a big cannon coming out of Gokai-Oh's chest here, ready to fire, which is very, very cool. Now, there's also one additional extra piece here, which is an effect piece, and it's basically a plume of smoke and a fire effect. basically, you just slip that on. There's a peg there, and just slip it on top of the cannon, and then you have a nice effect of plume of smoke as it fires the starburst attack or starbursto attack. So, which is very, very neat. And you have these cannonballs that load up upwards into the chest as it fires the starburst attack, which is very, very cool. With some closer detail on there. Very neat. Now, speaking of effects, there are a first release bonus effects. If you're able to purchase the set as it first came out, or in such as my case, get it on the secondary market. And these are slash effects, and they are for the sabers for Gokai-Oh. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can open that up here. And see, I'll have to do this off screen. And we have here a couple of slash effects for the sabers. And they're virtually identical to each other, so you can see how they line up there. So it's just two of the same effects. And taking a look at the effects, I'm not sure if they're showing up, but this is a bluish tint to this transparent or translucent piece of plastic here, and it's basically white over here. So basically a gradient shift from white to blue, light blue, and would produce a nice effect for a slash of a saber. And underneath here you can see where it's slotted, and basically you just take the saber here and fit it into that slotted area, like so. So when Gokai-Oh is slashing at his enemies, it produces a nice effect there, which is pretty cool. Now, I'm not sure if you're able to use this effect with other sets that have swords or sabers with them. It would be pretty neat if you could. I'll have to try it at some other time, but it'd be really cool if you could, like say, for a Shinken figure art figure with Shinken Maru, that'd be really cool if you can outfit it. It looks like you'd be able to. The only ones you would not be able to probably slot into here are thicker swords. But I think based on the thickness of this, you should be able to reuse this for other Bandai figures with swords. So that would be pretty neat if you could. But those are the effects that come with the first release or through secondary market slash effects. So, taking one last peek at the figure here in his starburst attack mode, I gotta recommend if you're a fan of the Kaizo Sentai Gokai series, this is a definite pickup. I really like this figure, and it just has loads of detail, lots of articulation, and great paint and sculpt, and it's just a must-have if you're a fan of the series or a fan of Robos. Even for fans of Super Megaforce the Power Rangers, whether they use the Starburst attack or not, we'll have to see. But just have the Gokai-Oh figure, or I believe it's called Legendary Megazord. It's I think a recommended must-have item. It's just a very cool figure to have. This is my casual peek into the Super Robot Chogokin Gokai-Oh action figure set. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.